Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. Happy to have you here with me for the Limitless Lifestyle Quest Masterclass. And I'm really, really glad that you're here today. In the next 25 to 30 minutes, my goal is to give you a clear blueprint for taking your existing knowledge and expertise and using it to create a scalable and automated online program, a business that frees you from the time for money trap. And so here's what we're going to cover. First, I'm going to show you why so many talented people feel stuck and why that's not your fault. Then, what I'm going to do is to walk you through the three pillar freedom framework, as I like to call it, that unlocks that growth opportunity for you without you having to put in more hours. Then I'm going to paint a picture of what's possible when your business runs on systems and automation instead of on your schedule and you being clocked in, exchanging time for money. And then finally, I'm going to show you how to take the first steps to getting started to creating that automated online business that gives you time and money freedom using your own knowledge and the ability to help more people on a wider scale. So, as we get started here, let me just tell you a little bit about myself and my story. So, I've spent over 25 years in organizational development, in leadership, and in coaching. And I've worked with companies like US Airways, Lowe's Home Improvement, the Washington Post, and American Airlines. And from the outside, you would say I was successful, but behind the scenes, I was exhausted and my career owned me. And the higher I climbed on that ladder, the less freedom I had. And I really felt like this really is not sustainable. And that's when I realized something critical that success without freedom really isn't success at all. And so over the last 10 years, I figured out a better way. And now my mission is to help other people like you to do the same. So think for a second here. What's your story? You might be a coach who's booked solid, but now you're capped out. You don't have any more time to take on any more clients. You're getting exhausted. And of course, your income is capped, right? Because there's only so many hours in a week that you can schedule one-on-ones with clients. Or maybe you're a corporate professional. And like me, you've climbed the ladder, but now you've lost control of your time. And again, you're capped even at the six-figure salary in terms of what you can earn. So wherever you are here, you're actually in the right place. And what matters isn't your current situation. Really, now it's about having the right system to use everything that you've gained in terms of knowledge and expertise and to move forward to your next phase of capitalizing on that. And you're in a really good place. You've clearly built success through your expertise. And now what you want to do is to scale that impact without scaling your hours. So again, all you need now is the blueprint for making that happen. And I'm going to share that blueprint with you as we move forward through the rest of our masterclass. So let me tell you now why I created this program. After more than 25 years in organizational development and coaching, I saw expert after expert getting stuck in burnout cycles and having limited lifestyles because of all the time and effort they were putting in with the exchanging time for money model. And this program was to help professionals like you who might be in those burnout cycles to get freedom from them. And so let's start out by talking about why you're stuck. And this is the hidden trap. It's because you've been taught to to trade time for money. So let's talk about the three strategies for earning money. Strategy one is the one that most of us have been trained to use, and that is exchanging time for money. You go to school, you get a degree, maybe you get an advanced degree, you get in an organization, you work really hard, but you're only getting paid for the time that you are actually putting in on the job, right? And that's very, very limiting. There's only so much time that you have. There's 168 hours in a week, and some of that needs to be family and sleeping and eating and personal business, etc. Right? So you get very limited there. The second strategy for earning money is the strategy of investing. And that could work, but you need specialized knowledge and you really need to know how to do that effectively. And again, that still can be hit or miss. And then finally, what we're going to focus on now is the third strategy for earning money and also earning your time freedom in the process. And that is figuring out a way to automate and to scale and to have multiple sources of income in place You could even have multiple programs in place with this model we're going to talk about, but having those multiple streams of income, those systems that allow you to automatically be earning even when you're not clocked in. And the benefit of that is not just earning more and having more time freedom, but also the ability to make a greater positive impact in the world, because in less time you can scale and you can help more people. Right. So that's what we really want to focus on. So the reason that you're stuck, and it's not your fault, is that like most of us, you've been taught to trade time for money. And again, when you do that, as I've demonstrated with my example, your success comes at the cost of your freedom. So maybe if you're a coach, you're experiencing this. Again, if you're still doing the one-on-one coaching model, you're going to get booked solid pretty quickly in the number of hours available in your week. And your income is still going to be capped, because when you are so full that you can't schedule any more one-on-ones with clients, you're not earning anymore. Or maybe you want more clients, but you don't want to put in more hours. Okay, so that's a problem if you really want to scale. But we're going to talk about how to get past that problem. If you're a corporate pro, like we've just discussed, perhaps like me, you've climbed that ladder, but boy, oh boy, now it owns you. It owns your time. And again, still limits your income. Because even if you're making a wonderful six-figure salary, they're not giving it to you, right? So they expect a lot in return for it, your employers. And of course, that's just how it is in corporate life. But secondly, you're only going to be able to earn what the organization has decided or agreed that they're going to pay you. And you're probably now in a situation where you want to supplement that income. Maybe you want to replace it altogether eventually with something that's yours, but you want something that really feels like your own, and you want something that you can do on your own schedule and on your own terms. So we're going to talk about the framework for making that happen. So whether you're a coach, whether you are a professional with some expertise, you're really in the right place. So what is it going to take first for you to start making that transition out of the trading time for money strategy and moving into the multiple sources of income and automation, where you are earning money where you're not clocked in to have to earn it? You're going to need a new paradigm. You're going to need a new way of thinking. And that paradigm needs to take you from the old school thinking that it's hard work alone and putting in the hours that will get you there, to no, let me use some leverage and let me be smart about where I'm putting my effort, so that with minimal effort or less effort, I can actually get better results for myself and for the people that I'm serving as my clients. So I want you to imagine a scenario where you've created a business with automation, and that runs on systems and automation and not on your schedule. Imagine what that would be like. Also take a moment to imagine being able to help more people and earn a lot more money in the process in fewer hours per week, just a few hours per week. So that's possible with the Limitless Lifestyle Quest. So we're going to focus on how you can get that freedom, how you can make an impact, how you can earn whatever the income is that you want to earn, and how you can have alignment. And when I say alignment, I mean alignment of all of the important facets of your life: your time, your money, your relationships, and your health. So you have a balanced life. And so to do that with Limitless Lifestyle Quest, I'm going to show you how to create a business that you can run in as little as 5 hours a week with automation, whether you want to transition completely to your own business or whether you want to start out a little more slowly by supplementing what you're already doing in your current career. I'm going to show you also how that business can generate income on autopilot. And I'm also going to show you how that makes a big difference for you and how that can give you your life back. So we're going to focus on the 3 pillars of the Limitless Lifestyle Quest Freedom Framework. The 3 pillars are: number 1, mindset reprogramming; number 2, your program. That's your offer and your marketing design, even if you're not a marketing person, which I am not. And then finally, your automation and systems. So let's look at each of these 3 pillars in just a little bit more detail. Let's start with pillar 1, which is mindset reprogramming. Now, this is mind-blowing for a lot of people, but this is the most important element, the most important pillar for your success. you're never going to get results that don't match your mindset programming. And so right now, if you have been a very, very successful coach or a very, very successful corporate professional, you've had a mindset, whether you developed it consciously or unconsciously, you've had a mindset, a way of thinking, habits of thought, an image of yourself that's programmed into your subconscious, whether you did it consciously, deliberately, or not, that has gotten you the results you're getting. And your results, this is just sort of the quantum physics of how this works. Energy attracts like energy, right? Your results are always going to match your mindset and how it's programmed. And the mindset that's gotten you the great results that you've gotten up to this point has been fantastic. But if you don't change it, you're only going to continue getting more of the results that you are currently getting. Now, if that's what you want, then that's great. And I would say that you're not in the right place now. So you might want to click out of the masterclass if all you want is more of what you already have. But if you really want to expand beyond that, again, use your expertise to create that online program with automation that gives you time and money freedom and helps you to serve more people, you're going to have to upgrade your programming for that. Okay. Again, your current mindset's only going to get you more of your current results. You've got to reprogram for the new income, the new lifestyle, and the new results that you want. So let's ask the question, why don't we do what we know how to do to get what we want? You probably already have some ideas on how you could get started. Maybe you've taken a couple of steps in this direction already, and then you kind of maybe didn't follow through. You didn't get there, right? And that might be the case most likely for you, because otherwise you'd be there and you wouldn't be on this masterclass right now. So let's answer the question why we don't do what we know how to do to get what it is that we want. And the reason is that we have a gap between knowing and having the knowledge of what to do and actually doing it. How many times have you seen this in yourself or other people that you've observed? And think about how we're trained in schools. It's all about learning the information and basically being able to spit it out on some form of an exam or an evaluation and check the boxes saying, yep, got the information, and was able to sort of spit it out and say, yes, that information is in this individual's head. But what good does it do to have the information if you're not taking action on it and getting the results? Really knowing something is not just having the knowledge in our heads, but actually using that knowledge, applying it, and getting the result that comes from it. So most of us have a knowing doing gap in one area or another. And I would bet you, because you're on this masterclass, you have something of a knowing doing gap that's keeping you from getting that program that you want to get in place, the results that you want to get. And so we're going to talk about what it takes to close your knowing doing gap. And what does it take? It takes shifting what you're seeing on the screen here. Okay, I have to warn you, a dad joke is coming up, but it's really all about your paradigms. See, get it? Pair of dimes, pair o' dimes. I think I'm the only person that thinks that's funny, but it amuses me. So I went ahead and left it here in the masterclass. But it's really all about your paradigms. Paradigms are simply habits of thought that you have. And again, your habits of thought, your paradigms, with repetition over and over again, have gotten programmed into your subconscious mind. And all the actions and everything that you take are always going to come from and match the paradigms that are programmed in your subconscious mind. Now, the success that you have to date shows that you've had some paradigms that have worked pretty well for you. And that's a wonderful thing. But those same paradigms and habits of thought are not going to get you to that next level of income, time and money freedom, and building your successful online program, your business that's going to help more people on a broader scale. And again, give you time and money freedom. You've got to reprogram for that. So again, paradigms are your habitual, I repeated that deliberately. It's your habitual habit of thought, right? So you have habits of thought, and if they're unchecked, your habit becomes to stick with your habit of thought, right? And so these thoughts build on each other, they grow, they get ingrained and embedded, and they really get strongly rooted in your subconscious. So it's like this. Let's say that your current state, whether you are a coach that's kind of overloaded or not getting a number of clients you want, not having the lifestyle that you want with your business, your time and money freedom, helping people on a larger scale, or you're a corporate professional in largely the same situation, that let's call your current situation, let's pick a city. Let's call it Cincinnati, Ohio in the US. Now, I've been to Cincinnati. It's a really nice town. And Cincinnati, hey, it's great. But if you've decided now that Cincinnati's been wonderful, but now what I want is a new destination, I have a new goal. And we're going to call that new destination Paris. Okay, so Cincinnati represents your current state. Paris represents that lifestyle of time and money freedom, your automated online program. You are working fewer hours, but having a greater impact, earning more, helping more people on a larger scale, feeling more fulfillment. We're going to call that goal the destination of Paris. Now, here's the mistake that most people make, and you definitely don't want to make this mistake. And that is, let me read the books, talk to the experts, take the classes, put the structures in place, and learn how to fly this plane from Cincinnati, Ohio to Paris. Think about times when maybe you've taken that approach, or people that you've observed who have taken that approach. And what do you see that happens? They take off, they move toward Paris, they get in the sky, they have a rocky trip, they start struggling with the controls that are trying to turn off course. And eventually the plane wins, it turns around and it lands back in Cincinnati, Ohio. So we work harder and try again this time, working harder. We struggle, we turn around, we're back in Cincinnati. Well, we do this a few times and we say, well, I give up, I tried. Paris is the impossible dream. Nobody I know has gotten to Paris. I've tried multiple times. I guess I better just make peace with Cincinnati and convince myself that Cincinnati's really all I want. I don't want anything more than that. Cincinnati's fine. Let me convince myself of that. Does that resonate with you? Have you actually felt that or experienced that or observed people who have? Well, here's the problem. Success is 95% mindset. And it's just 5% the strategies, the tactics, the actions that you take. And so that autopilot on the airplane, this is the problem. The problem with that plane turning around and going back to Cincinnati, Ohio over and over is that the autopilot on the plane, the programming, it's still programmed for Cincinnati. And ultimately, it's going to win every single time. And so what do? Well, the 95% of success in getting that plane from Cincinnati to Paris is to program the autopilot in advance for Paris. And now 5% of that is monitoring, taking the appropriate actions at the right time, and more automatically, the plane is going to start moving in the direction of Paris and landing there successfully. Okay, so that's the mindset reprogramming. And we help you with that with the Thinking into Results program. And we do that with a program in conjunction with a program by my mentor, Bob Proctor. He passed away a few years ago, but I was fortunate enough to work with Bob in the last 4 years of his life. And basically in pillar one here with our mindset reprogramming, you get Bob's full 12-module Thinking into Results program, guided by me and members of my team. It gets you past your current thinking, and it shifts your self-identity so that you can easily achieve the results that you really want to achieve. Now let's move on to pillar two. Pillar two is your offer and your marketing design. Now, by offer, what I mean is your actual program that you're going to be offering. And by marketing, what I mean is, well, marketing. How are you going to get the word out there? You can build a wonderful, beautiful program. And if nobody knows about it, it's just going to be a beautiful white elephant sitting on a shelf collecting dust. And we definitely don't want that. So you want to get your offer together and you want to design your marketing. Now, you might be thinking, I am not a marketing person. Neither am I. But I have learned over the last decade how to market effectively, even if you're not a marketing person, and how to do it in not very much time at all. Typically, an hour a week would be enough for you to do your marketing. And in pillar 2, we show you how to do that. Also, we show you how to get your offer together, including a blueprint for mapping out and designing what your program should look like for highest effectiveness. And then we also show you how to identify your ideal client, how to identify what sets you apart, your niche, and then basically how to spend maybe an hour or so a week marketing toward that. So with pillar 2, you learn how to turn your expertise into a repeatable, scalable offer. And again, the focus is on transformation, not just transformation of your clients, but transformation of your life so that you, again, are not exchanging time for money, just getting paid for your clocked in hours. So we start out by talking about who is your ideal client. You want to figure that out. Who would you like to serve? Who are the clients you really like to work with? What's your area of expertise? Who can it help? And basically, who would be the people that would be most interested and most benefit from your program? So as part of pillar 2 in Limitless Lifestyle Quest, we walk you through all of that so that you can figure all of that out. We walk you through how to determine if you have a viable niche, and then very importantly, how to set yourself apart in that niche. So let's talk about that. How do you determine what sets you apart? Now, this can be counterintuitive. Typically, we will tend to want to look for a niche that, wow, nobody's doing this. It'll be a gold mine for me. Well, in rare cases, that could be true, but generally speaking, if nobody is offering something in the niche that you think would be your niche, there's probably a reason for it. If people were interested, if there were a market for it, somebody would be out there doing it successfully. And so what you want to do is to find a niche that is already out there, that there's clearly a market for. And then what you want to do is figure out, how do you set yourself apart within that niche, within that market? I'll give you a really quick story here. I was sitting on an airplane recently next to someone who asked me what I do. His name was Peter, as well as mine. And Peter actually was very intrigued when I was telling him about what I do. And so he said, I don't really want to put a program together, but I take people on hikes, and I work in the Charlotte, North Carolina area in the US, and I want to take people on these hikes, but there's so many people doing that. So maybe I shouldn't bother. And I said, okay, let's talk about what sets you apart. He said, well, what I do is I pack a nice lunch, I pick beautiful hikes, and I know where there are some kind of hidden waterfalls that a lot of people don't know about. And I take people there, we see the waterfalls, and we have a picnic lunch by the waterfall. I said, that's great. Most people aren't doing that, right? He said, no, as far as I know, I'm the only one. Great. That's what sets you apart. And he was very excited about this. And as we were deplaning, I asked him a little bit more about his background. We were talking. He said, I got very interested in doing these hikes because I fell in love with hiking when I used to be a park ranger. I was like, oh my goodness, there's something else that sets you apart. You are the waterfall guy who has the expertise of a park ranger, which clearly sets you apart. I would say virtually less than 1% of your competition in your area, I would say off the top of my head, most likely, not a park ranger and not former park ranger and not focusing on waterfalls on the hikes, right? So, hey, if you're going to go on a hike, wouldn't you love to go on a hike where you get to see a beautiful, beautiful waterfall, have a picnic lunch there, and you're led confidently by a former park ranger, right? And that's what you want to do. Find that niche, find what sets you apart in that niche. Now, once you've done that, how do you find the clients? Well, you've got to find the right ponds to fish in. Now, here is where you can accelerate getting an ongoing perpetual stream of clients, perpetual stream of people who are ideal clients for you. You've got to fish in the right ponds, and the ponds are all online. So we fish online using social media. And here are some examples of some of the common social media. Now, you may be thinking, oh, I don't want to spend hours on social media, or maybe you love social media. Great. But if you don't want to spend hours on social media, I really don't either. You really do not. I will typically spend, maybe an hour a week on social media, maybe even a little bit less than that. In that hour or so, I create enough social media posts and schedule them that I'm good for a month. right? So it doesn't really take a lot. But essentially, what we show you how to do here is to figure out which social media platform or platforms your ideal clients are on. All you're going to do is to post helpful content, helpful hints in your area of expertise, things that bring value. And when people click a like, a love, or they make a comment, they're essentially raising their hands. They're interested in what you have to offer. And those are the people that you start building relationships with, getting into conversations with online, and then inviting them to sign up for and join your program. And that is basically how you fish in the right ponds. And again, it does not take a marketing degree or a great deal of marketing expertise. And especially now with AI software, it doesn't really take very much time at all to create that content and to schedule and post it. And we show you all about how to do that in Pillar 2 of the Limitless Lifestyle Quest program. Finally, we're going to talk about Pillar 3. And Pillar 3 is you want automation and systems. This is automation for messaging, communicating with, and managing those leads that you're bringing in by fishing in the right social media ponds. And this is actually also automation of your program. High touch, high tech in both cases. So it looks like you're really in there individually with people, but you're actually doing it on scale. So the high tech makes it take less time and allows you to scale. And the high touch still gives it that personalized touch with the people that you're communicating with or the people that you are serving through your program. And this is all done with technology, which is really simple to use now. So if you don't have automation in place for your marketing, let's talk about that. Very quickly, you are going to be in this situation. So let's say that you are growing crops on farmland and you're doing that downstream of this dam. And let's say the dam is open, but you don't have the irrigation pipes in place yet. What's going to happen to the crops that you're growing downstream, right? The water's going to go all over the place. It's not going to end well for your end goal for your crops. And worst case scenario, trying to control the dam, you're going to have buckets in your hands and you're trying to pick up as much water. And most of that water is getting wasted. Water being the metaphorical equivalent of all the leads that are coming in through your social media posting. So what you want to do is you want to get your irrigation pipes in place, get the pipeline in place. And then when the dam opens, the water will go through the proper pipelines that you've put in place, the proper channels, and go just where you need it for your crops to grow successfully. In this case, your business to grow successfully. So you need two basic systems. One, you need a system that's going to help you to manage these leads when they come in. So as I mentioned, you post on social media, people click like or love, or they make a comment, or I find they DM me a lot and say, oh my gosh, Peter, that was so helpful. Thank you. Tell me more. And in that case, you need a system like the one you see here. I use FlowChat. There are several of them. A CRM, customer relationship management system. There are several at various price points. I've seen some as little as $27 a month, and I've seen some couple $100 a month. But you need one that's going to let you create a pipeline. Literally, if you look at each one of these four columns, you have lead in, you have friend requests sent. You can title these whatever you want, but these are the standard ones. And we show you how to do this, and we give you messaging to start with that you can alter. So basically, you are writing messages that are going to take each lead on a curated journey. You're going to build a relationship with them, get them into a conversation with you, and ultimately get them to enroll in your program. But when that dam is opened and you're going to find very quickly you've got hundreds of leads, it's almost impossible to just sort of ad hoc keep up with all of them and come up with individual messages on the spot for them. So you bring people in from social media, and these are automated with these systems. You push a button, it brings them all in. You bring them into your first lead-in part of your pipeline. The messages are pre-written. You click, it says, hey, do you want to send this message to this person that you've pre-written? And your answer is yes, you do. Then when they respond, you click on their card, you drag it over to the next column, and then it asks you if you want to send out the next pre-written message. If that message makes sense, great, send it out. If not, you may have what we call an off-script conversation where for a little bit you are on the fly, actually really in real time communicating with that person. And then as soon as it makes sense, you drag them over to the next column, and you send out the pre-written message. So it cuts down the number of individual messages you have to send. And when you find in your first couple of months, I'm just telling you, you follow this program, you're going to have a couple hundred clients probably within your first couple of months of doing this. It makes it much easier to manage and communicate effectively with those clients. Okay, and there's several systems that do this. I'm just using the one I use here as an example. Now, you also need a system to automate your program. There's many systems you can use. I use one called Coach Accountable, and Coach Accountable allows you to put all of your content basically in a system with a timetable. It pushes all of your content out, the content that we help you to map out and design here in the program. It helps you to push all of that out on a timeline. Generally speaking, we recommend that you have one module a week, and your program probably should be 8 to 12 modules at a time, right? And this pushes out the module. Any videos you've created, and we show you how to quickly create videos and content. Helps you to do all of that automated on a timeline. I've got dozens of people right now who are in my programs that are completing them, and it's all automated. Again, high tech, high touch. When a module is completed and they get the wonderful job, this client's name is Anna. Wonderful job, Anna. This is fantastic. Good job. And Anna says, oh, thank you so much for the encouragement. Well, that was pre-written months or even in some cases a couple of years ago. But it gives that high touch feeling. And when you have dozens of clients and you're scaling, this actually really helps it to feel like you're present. And sometimes you actually really will be present, but it basically just supplements that. Okay. This actually also allows the clients to do things on their own time, track their progress. It keeps them moving. You have dashboards where you can see how they're doing. If you need to nudge them a little bit, if they're falling behind, you can do that. They see they're falling behind. Most people don't like that. They go in and they clean up and get caught up. But the key is you want something where there's going to be automation here as well. The beauty of this also is then you just show up once a week for your program for an hour and you just do a Q&A session, questions and answers. You can hot seat a few people, help them work through things. It helps everybody in the group at the same time. And it doesn't matter. It's the same hour a week, whether you have 3 people or 303 people. It's the same amount of time, the same amount of effort. And this is how you help people on scale with technology. Now, all of this is about going from that one-to-one model to a one-to-many model. And that's where the magic happens. That's where you scale. That's where you can exponentially increase your income to wherever you want it to be, and how you can do it in far less time. You could do this in 5 hours a week once you get it all set up. So here are some things our clients have achieved. We have an HR director who doubled his 6-figure corporate income, also while decreasing his hours per week from 50 to 20. We have a coach who went from those limits of the one-on-one coaching and got her automated scalable program in place in 90 days. We have another client who launched and marketed her automated online program in just 12 weeks with our rapid content creation process, where we talk about how to very, very quickly create content with the knowledge that's in your head or with things that you've already created. So what's your next step as we wrap up? Well, you've already done the hard part by becoming excellent at what you do. And now your next step is to build a business that reflects your worth and your vision and allows you once again to scale, to earn whatever it is that you'd like to earn, and allows you to help people on a broader scale, make a bigger difference for people, and to do it with less time and less effort and get that life balance back. And I have figured out how to do it for you. I've spent well over $100,000 with coaches and programs and testing and stumbling and making mistakes. And this worked and this didn't work and all of that over the past decade to figure this out for you. And I can tell you that it works because it's working really well for me and clients in the program. And so Limitless Lifestyle Quest is a shortcut that'll keep you from spending $100,000 and taking 8 to 10 years to figure this out. Now, why is it that you need a program and a mentor? Because I've had people ask me this, and it's a valid question. Why can't I just go online, get the information, and get there myself? Well, one, we've already talked about the knowing doing gap, right? So knowing it and having the information isn't the same thing as doing it and getting the results. Think of an Olympic athlete. When an Olympic athlete finishes their event and they're standing on the side waiting for their scores, who do you see next to them? Their coach, right? Even gold medal elite athletes have coaches and mentors. So imagine this. Imagine that you want to fly this biggest airplane to date ever created, ever built, the Airbus A380, beautiful double-decker plane here. Imagine you wanted to pilot this. Let's go to Paris again. And you say, I don't need a simulator and a mentor, a coach to help me through this and help me to practice in the simulator and figure out the emergencies and what to do. I'm just going to order the manual from Airbus, read it and study it, and then I'm just going to go ahead and get in the plane and fly it. If you were to do that, how do you think that's going to go? I think we can agree that is not going to go well, okay? That flight is probably going to have a catastrophic end, right? Because having the knowledge alone is not the same thing as being taught and coached and mentored and practiced to really get the result and get that plane successfully to Paris. And so the Limitless Lifestyle Quest program gives you the pathway, it gives you the knowledge, it's basically going to give you everything that you need, all packaged. And it's also going to give you a mentor. You have me and you have my associates on my team as well. And so there's a 3-tier client pathway. And congratulations, you've already completed the first tier. That was the free masterclass that you've completed today. Now, tier 2 is to get started. And that is to book, you have 2 choices here to get started. One is to book your initial brainstorming call. That's a 20-minute call with a member of my team. And on that call, we're going to get you crystal clear on what it is that you want to create, where you want to be. We're going to look at where you are now. We're going to look at the gap in between those 2 realities. And then you're going to get some concrete actions you can start taking right away, brainstorming these actions that you can take right away that are going to help you to close that gap as quickly as possible. What you can also do to get started, and you could do one or both of these things, but your other option is to join our 21-day challenge. We have a 21-day challenge that basically gets you started right away. And that 21-day challenge gives you the first 2 modules of Bob Proctor's Thinking into Results program. And so with that, you are going to get, first of all, a clear goal, crystal clear on what you want, very, very clear, actionable goal. Second week, you're going to focus on your reprogramming, starting to program your autopilot so that you can more smoothly and automatically start achieving that goal. Remember, that's 95% of your success. And then finally, in week 3 of the 21-day challenge, you are going to figure out your ideal client, your niche, your target market. And you're going to complete a blueprint that helps you to map out and design your program. And you've got my almost 30 years of instructional design expertise to help you to do that, all mapped out. And then finally, tier 3 is to move into the full 6-month Limitless Lifestyle Quest transformation program, which is designed for you to, in 6 months, launch, automate, and scale your program with the 3 tiers of the program itself. So, time to get started. We're going to ask you to take some action here. Decision is the key. What would happen if you don't take any action? Well, you're going to think about it, and then what's going to happen is a few days, a week will go by, and guess what? I'm telling you, that paradigm, that autopilot is going to take over. You're going to stay right in the status quo. And imagine a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're still in the same place, and you have not achieved this goal. Not something that you want to experience. So take one of those options, book that strategy call, that brainstorming call, or join the 21-day challenge. So with the 20-minute brainstorming call, you'll talk once again to a member of my team, and that team member is going to help you once again to close the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. And that's free, no obligation, just 20 minutes out of your day. 21-day challenge, again, you're going to have 3 objectives here. Week 1, get clear on what you really want through the Thinking into Results program. Week 2, identify and reprogram the hidden programming, the autopilot that if you don't reprogram it is going to sabotage your success. Week 3, once again, identify your target market and your ideal client and map out your online program. So take that action today. The brainstorming call slots are limited. That 21-day challenge can start right now. Make the decision. Just take the first step toward your future greatness and take that step today. Okay? The only question now for you is, how fast do you want your freedom? So book your free 20-minute initial brainstorming call or join the 21-day challenge today. And you'll find the links to do that below. If you're watching this video someplace where there are not links, look for the link in the video description itself. And I invite you to join us and create that wonderful lifestyle of time and money freedom that you really want.